Alright everyone, I'm back with another video. I am trying to replicate that Marc Belanger radiant energy device. I'm having a little trouble with it, I think. I'm not even 100% entirely sure if it's working or not. Because my basic thinking is that I'm basic thinking when it comes to charging a battery, you hook up positive to the positive and negative to the negative, right? So how I know this is not charging the battery, I'm just using this source battery to run my circuit, and it charges the capacitor just fine, but I don't know how to get that energy from the capacitor or whatever the energy, radiant energy is supposed to be coming from, back into the battery. And I'm needing some help with that. So I'm hoping that when I message Mark and tell him to watch this video, that he'll give me some advice on to what I'm doing wrong. I already know he has a different relay, but I really don't think that matters. He has, I'm pretty sure, a Bush style relay at 60 amps. This is a relay from Radio Shack that I bought and soldered the circuit up myself, so it has a normally closed contact. And basically the one that Imhotep made on one of his videos, it has the neon bulb in it, as you can see right here. And you can see like the wire leads and all that coming in. I'm sorry about all the mess with wires. Zoom out. I'm sorry about all the mess with wires here. They're all kind of finagle crazy. This right here is just so that way I don't have to keep attaching and reattaching the wire leads for the positive, and when I want to for me to turn on the circuit, so I just added a light switch into that. I'm trying to replicate this guy's stuff because of the fact I'm trying to get to be able to use a load like how he showed while the battery is still being charged. So basically it's a never ending continuous run of a battery, and the battery never actually dies. So I'm really trying to get something like that going, because I could really just, all I'm trying to get is like 3 volts of electricity to use constantly. I really don't think I'm going to be using that much. So anyway, I got the same, I looked really closely at his video. I got the same exact capacitor he had. It is a motor run capacitor rated at 370 to 440 volts of electricity, and the unifarad is 440, so 40 unifarad. I'm sorry my light's acting ridiculous on this camera. It's auto focusing and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to show you that it does work. I do have the system set up so we could charge this capacitor right here. I just don't know how to get that energy to loop itself back into the battery. And so if anybody's made a replica of this, or if he could tell me what exactly I'm doing wrong when I write him back, hopefully he writes me back. It looks like he messages people for the most part. So I mean, even if I have to wait a few days, I'm fine with it. I just want to try to get this going here. One good thing about it is you don't actually have to use that capacitor. I got this capacitor right here out of a old power supply of mine for a computer because it was burnt out. I kept the power supply, the burnt out power supply, for spare parts for stuff, and I found 2 of these 200 volt and at 1200 unifarads. So they're pretty big. I mean, they're nowhere as big as that one, but they seem like they work just fine. I got 2 of them out of there, as you can see right here. And the thing about why I think he wanted the high voltage rating is because this throws out high voltage spikes, and like the high voltage spikes is what you need high voltage for, because the high voltage spikes are like anywhere from 90 to 100 and something, so almost 200 volts of electricity of a voltage spike. It would make sense for why you want a high voltage rating capacitor to catch all that flyback and from the high voltage spike. So right now I have the voltage is seeking. Since it's a capacitor, everybody knows pretty much for the most part what a capacitor do. It'll leak voltage. This one's leaking kind of quick, and I don't know if that's because I got the information hooked up to my multimeter here, or if it's just like that. But I know that the voltage is leaking pretty fast, and I'm sorry, my stuff shut off because it's power saving, and sometimes I hate that because it's dumb like that. I don't know. So right now it's at 24 volts. Damn. Sorry about that, everyone. There. Anyway, it's at 24 volts, 23's decreasing very quick. But like I said, the circuit does work. Let me get back a little bit. There's no external voltage supply other than the battery, and this is 12 volt lead acid battery. I'm gonna show you. Not lead acid. Yeah, it's lead acid deep cycle battery. It's 12 volts at 8 amp hours. I don't know if you can see all that right there. So, and that's the only thing that this is running on. So you're already getting over unity because, I mean, granted, over unity, basically what over unity is, if you don't already know, over unity has to do with overpower basically. So I'm using less power to get more power, and that's what over unity is. So 12 volts up to 300 volts or whatever this capacitor is rated at. I mean, granted, I don't think it's going to go all the way up to that. I mean, you'll see in a second. But what I'm trying to say is from 12 volts to 100 and or so over, that's over unity right there, period. So anyway, I'm going to turn on the circuit so you guys can watch the voltage go up. Like I said, you could get a really good look at all my wiring. I'm go kind of slow so you guys can see where it's all going here. It isn't going to anything ridiculous. These probes are going into my these right here, these two are going straight. This is so you can see the voltage on the capacitor is going straight into my supply right here, my multimeter, I'm sorry. And wiring coming from my switch and from the capacitor and the battery, as you can see, goes right into the battery to the capacitor right there, and then neon bulb, power cables, negative cabling, it's all right there. So anyway, I'm gonna turn this on now. I'm trying to hurry up and get these videos done, so watch. Put the switch and look how fast it jumped up. Now you hear the circuit is running, it's humming. That's coming from the 12 volt battery, and the high voltage spikes is charging that capacitor up. So right now it's at 132 and climbing, and it's gonna keep doing so. And right now you can see the neon bulb. I'm gonna shut this light off and this light off on my camera. You see that neon bulb is lighting up, and it's because of the fact that it's already past 120 volts. So I think that's the reason why it stays lit the whole time. Now, see, you heard that change in it? It's because charging is hitting another. I think the oscillation is getting higher spikes, so it's staying up high. Now that it hit 170 volts, you see it's decreasing now for some reason. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off. But it'll steady decrease to like 100 something and stay there. But it went up to 170 volts, and then that change, I guess it stopped the pulsing or something. I'm not too sure why it changed like that, but obviously you've seen it happen. If you guys could give me any information about all this, I'm just trying to get this to run a small load, like how that, how he showed that LED he had, the 12 volt LED. He had it running a load while he was using the battery and it was charging itself. So I just want to be able to do something like that. So if you guys got any information you could give me, or maybe make a video, show me what I'm doing wrong here, or how to hook this up correctly, I would appreciate it. Thank you and goodbye.